The most news in the morning. CNN's American Morning. Weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern.
You know, a lot of people are wondering, are these freak weather conditions just a coincidence, or are they somehow linked? What's your take?
The take is this, is that all these things are the kinds of things that we would expect to happen as the planet warms up. And what we're seeing is that overall the planet's warming about 0.35 degrees per decade, and places like Greenland are warming up even faster, like 3.5 degrees per decade. And all these events, from heat waves to stronger monsoons to loss of ice from around the world, they're all consistent with that. Where it gets a little bit tricky, though, is assigning any one specific event to say, oh, the cause of this event is definitely global warming. That's kind of where we get to the edge of the research.
I got you. But when you take a look at the numbers, the combined global land and ocean average surface temperature for June 2010 was the warmest on record. Before that, the record was June, I think, 2005. Is there a larger conclusion to be drawn, or is this part of a cycle?
Oh, no, there's definitely a larger conclusion to be drawn. You know, we're seeing things that haven't really ever happened on this planet before, like warming at this specific rate. And we think it's very well tied to increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere since the late 1800s caused by humans. One of the best places to look for information on this, you can go to climate.nasa.gov and see the graphs for yourself that show the correlations between these things. And also remember, it's not just the last 10 years, the last few years we're talking about. We have pretty good satellite records now that go back 50 years. We combine that with information from weather stations around the world. We have a pretty good record going back to the late 1880s that tells us all about how the planet's warming up. And on top of that, too, remember, it's not just evidence from that. We have evidence from the geologic record. We have ice cores. We have sediment cores from the ocean floor. All this stuff feeds together to tell us about how the planet's changing.
And so when you take that information together and you talk about this increase, as you said, 0.35 degrees per decade, what does that tell us about what eventually is going to happen? Can this be reversed? Can the cycle be reversed?
Yeah, those are really the million-dollar questions right now. What is it that we can do about climate change? Well, I think one of the things we have to think about is the planet is going to change and we have to deal with that. For example, we look at satellite studies, the ice around Antarctica and Greenland, we're losing ice into the ocean from all those outlet glaciers. Sea level is right now today rising at about 3 millimeters a year. If you just extrapolate those for the next 100 years, we're going to